definitely starting out using the soundboard. Wow, that's pretty loud. Cool. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Alex. It's your boy Alex G, and I'm alongside Mal, and this is the A Couple of Things podcast where we're here to talk about a couple of things. We got the soundboard working better than last time, so definitely wanted to start with that. But yeah, I would say it was a pretty eventful week. There was a lot going on, a lot of new music, a lot of random things going on. I guess we could start with music. Did you have anything else you wanted to start with first?
No, I guess we can start with music because we ended with it last time, so we can start with it this time.
What do we end with? Oh, Kendrick.
Yeah.
Oh,
like last
Kanye,
time.
Drake, everything.
Yeah, like I was saying, like last podcast, we ended off with music, so we could start off with music this time.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a lot of music came out. Did I crack my phone? A lot of music came out. Lots of albums. I guess just to ones that really don't need a super in-depth breakdown that I listened to that I've liked. Belly's album was good. Was really good. I enjoyed it. Good to hear music from him. Also, Lil Tecca dropped an album which was really, really good. It sounded great. He dropped that song with Gunna. I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but he dropped that as the single before the album came out. And once I heard it, I was like, all right, this album's gonna be fire. So don't need an in-depth breakdown on that one. That one was cool. What else? What else is there before we get to the big heavy hitters? I think that was it actually in terms of music. Let me go see just to make sure. But outside of that, yeah, I don't think there was really anybody else besides the big three that we've been discussing. Yeah, there was nothing else really. But so in terms of the big three, I guess we start with. I would rather start with Kendrick. He dropped the song "Family Ties" with Baby Keem, with a crazy visual as always. Since this was their first song, I guess on PG Lang, their new collective art, whatever it is, definitely a strong showing because I think Dave Free did the video, and he started PG Lang with Kendrick. Video was fire. The random Normani cameo was fire. Yeah, I mean, visually, Kendrick is always gonna make crazy music videos, crazy movies. I think he's just gonna transition into just crazy media company. But the video was fire. The song was very fire. Keem definitely held his own. I think that's a tough thing. Like, you get a Kendrick feature, usually people get washed with a Kendrick feature on their own songs, and it's like Keem, I feel like, is like the first person to actually hold his own, where it wasn't like obvious that Kendrick washed him. Obviously, Kendrick's verse was crazy, but yeah, Keem held his own. So definitely was a big day for him because that dropped. And just earlier today, his verse on Donda dropped. So definitely a crazy weekend for him. But yeah, Kendrick's verse though.
Yeah.
The Kanye reference. It was very interesting. I liked it because the whole thing was originally the whole beef or like battle. I wouldn't say beef, but the battle for who's the top dog was no pun intended there. But it was originally Drake versus Kendrick, and then Kanye just came out the blue. So, but now it's kind of funny because that Kanye Drake thing took over the whole like the whole idea of who's dropping and who's not, and it's just funny because Kendrick comes out the blue and then is specifically referencing both of them, and I thought that was fire because I'm like, y'all too focused on each other. You guys better remember who's over here, like just waiting, who's been sitting there camped out with an album that I think they said was already done, but he's just sitting there waiting for everybody else. But yeah, what'd you think about the Kanye reference?
Since I'm like a huge Kanye fan, I always kind of side eye any type of reference that is not clear. But I didn't think it was like a diss. I just thought it was more so like, I don't know, like he's obviously great, but so am I, or something like that. Like with the whole, I don't know what he was really trying to say though.
He said Kanye changed his life, but I'm still an old school Gemini. I think he was just saying that like Kanye
Like
changed
he's
for the
changing.
better,
Yeah,
but Kendrick is saying that he's still crazy. So I think
yeah,
so. It wasn't a diss. It was more so just like a
yeah.
shout out, I guess.
Like I guess saying yeah, like how Kanye kind of quote unquote chilled out, but
Yeah, like good for
Kendrick
him.
is like, well, you're gonna be the better person, but I'm not. Basically, I
Exactly.
guess.
And I think that he's more so like going at Drake more so than Kanye, especially um, just because that was the original battle in the first place, and they've had Kendrick and Drake have had problems forever, or not problems, but it's just been competition forever, and it's never stopped. So yeah, because he said something like, "Don't say my name unless you're addressing me with four letters," referencing like the goat word. Everybody keeps throwing around goat, like Drake saying, "I'm already known as the goat." Kanye saying like, "You want to come in and play with the goat." And then Kendrick saying, "Don't address me unless it's with four letters," which he was a reference to being the GOAT. So I love it. I mean, competition. That's what it's all
Yeah.
about. The verse was fire. Definitely looking forward to the full PG Lang album because I feel like one thing about people that don't make a lot of noise is that what they do behind the scenes is always like crazy. Like you haven't heard a single Kendrick nothing until now, and then you see the art, you hear the song, verses are crazy, and it's just like I can't even imagine what he has in the tuck, especially after all this time. So I'm excited for,
I feel like Kanye is like that a little bit
and that's what
because he could be out there, but he's not. Like
help.
he hasn't really even said anything this whole time. He just dropped pictures. I don't think any of his Instagram pictures even had captions. Like he hasn't spoken at any of his listening parties, and the rollout was like fast.
It was kind of slow to me, but you know what? Actually, that's not. The reason why it was slow is because it was like anticipating it, and it felt like it was dragging out forever. But
It
a
was only like
typical,
2-3 weeks.
yeah, because a typical rollout is forever. Like
Yeah,
like Certified Lover Boy, it's been a very long rollout.
yeah.
Um,
And I feel like I don't know. Kanye comes out of nowhere and like talks. I mean, not talks, but comes out of nowhere to create buzz. So he kind of like low key too. I feel like Kendrick more low key, but I feel like Kanye's like runner up. But Drake just talks all year round and just I don't know.
yeah,
He doesn't. I feel like he. I don't know. I feel like he doesn't. Drake hasn't mastered the whole. You could just chill and come back, pop back out. Like he's always on social media. He's always like dropping music, dropping features. Like I don't think he's trying to stay relevant, but because obviously he is. But I feel like he hasn't mastered that whole go into hiding and come back out thing.
yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah,
I guess it's two sides of the coin. It's like, do you? Because I would never say that Drake isn't an artist, but I feel like people that take more time with their music end up making better music.
yeah.
Just like with anything, if you take your time and
And how
effort,
many albums does he have?
I'm not sure.
I
Because
feel
then he
like he has a
started doing.
lot.
At this point, he has a lot because he did a lot of like he dropped a care package and Dark Lane demo tapes, which wasn't really that far after one another. And uh, that I think counts now as two albums, but I don't know how it works now. The whole mixtape versus LP versus EP thing still throws me off. But but yeah, it's interesting because like I would never say that he's not a great artist, but I feel like he drops so frequently that I would be interested to see like what would happen if he really took his time with an album, like and wasn't doing features. Because I think his feature on Having Our Way on the Migos album was like super fire. Like it was like probably one of his better verses I've ever heard personally, which may be a hot take, but I thought it was just super hard. And it's like I wonder if he just took that same energy and just like locked in with something and then just produced forever. But I mean,
Yeah, he has 11 albums, but he's about to have 12. And he has the same amount as Kanye. Kanye just dropped his 12th.
yeah,
Well, people don't, I don't know, some people say it's his 12th, but some people will say it's his 11th. A lot of people don't count because he goes.
because it was so short.
Yeah, and it was a
Was it?
collab album.
Was it like 4 songs or 5 songs?
7. That's when he was
Really?
on his 7 streak.
Yeah. Well, looking forward to CLB. Oh, copyright strike. Looking forward to CLB though.
I think is I don't want to speak too soon, but I feel like it's not going to be what people think it is. I feel like Drake fans are used to a certain type of music by him. Like they want quotable stuff and they want like, I don't know, some of his fans like, you know, his whole talk crazy type music, like mob ties type stuff. But I don't feel like it's going to be that. If it's going to be like R&B and, you know, like kind of back to his old roots, but I feel it's going to be boring. But I don't want to talk too soon, obviously, because Drake is known, obviously, for putting out good music. But it's just going to be funny. This thing is, people are going to, I feel like some of his fans are going to be disappointed for some reason. I don't know.
I mean, he said that, but like, I think, because we were talking the other day and I likened what I think he's going to do to The Weeknd with things like After Hours, where The Weeknd's known for doing that. Like the trilogy is like insane and it's all just really dark themes and very dark sounds. And I think that Drake might not do the exact same thing, but I think he's gonna move more over into like a
mainstream. Well, he's already mainstream.
Yeah, that's my perception. I think that's why people.
Yeah,
that's
I feel it's gonna be poppy. I don't know. I feel like I don't know why I just have a feeling it's gonna be cringe.
That's why he said people probably aren't gonna like it because we've already seen him do the moody R&B. Yeah. I think he's mastered that. We've seen him do like trap rap with like if you're reading this, it's too late, and just a lot of his features are like that. We've heard him. I would say it's an attempt. I don't know because I'm not really from there, but like the island music he's done.
Yeah, and the London, Jamaican stuff, whatever.
Yeah, so I think
I just feel like he's trying hard to be like Kanye for some reason. I don't know. Like I feel like he's trying to be different because like Kanye has mastered every album of his being a different sound, and I feel like Drake's trying to do that. I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of a Kanye fan, but obviously Kanye is one of Drake's biggest inspirations, and you know we talked about how Take Care was heavily influenced by 808s and Heartbreaks, and it's just I don't know. I feel like that's why even with them beefing, I feel like deep down Drake hates it because that's like his inspiration. I don't know. I feel like Drake's trying to be like that Kanye type vibe, like where he's gonna change his sound on each album. And I feel like this sound is just not gonna like sit right with his fans for some reason. I just feel like that way. I could just see it now. I could see people being like disappointed, but I could also see people being like riding him just because they're huge fan.
It's very difficult to make assumptions when we haven't heard anything.
I know. I haven't heard a single snippet.
But I'm only saying that just because of what he said. I'm just going based off of what he said that people probably aren't going to like it because it's different. So that's my just assumption based off that. But I don't think that it's going to be a bad album by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a bad album. I know I probably won't like it. But I don't want to speak too soon. Because obviously I have a what's the word?
Predisposition.
Yeah, predisposition.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, it's competition, but it's really not. That's why I'm like glad he dropped Donda today because he would have got washed when Drake came out.
I don't think he ever was even going to drop it the same day. I don't know. I feel like he wanted to know when he was around when he was going to drop it. I feel like it was never his intention to drop the same day. I feel like Kanye's not stupid.
Yeah, probably just because he wanted to drop the week before, kind of forced Drake to pick a date so that he could pick the week before, so Kanye could still technically go number one, and then Drake can also go number one and remove Kanye from that number one spot.
Well, wouldn't it still be this week, or does the week starts Monday for music?
I'm not sure. How
it would technically be the same calendar week, today and Friday are the same week.
Well, I don't know. Well, the way the weeks work is the week starts with Sunday. So, I mean, so Saturday maybe.
Today's
Sunday.
He
dropped it today, Sunday. Damn. Yeah, so maybe that wasn't his plan. So maybe it was trying to get him washed then. Oh, well. I mean, I was trying to give him some credit, but I mean, I guess I'm sure he doesn't care. Like, that's the whole weird part about what his goal was.
I think it was just a mental thing. I don't think like he actually cares either. That's the funny thing because everybody on Twitter is like writing essays about how Drake's gonna do better and all that. I think Kanye knows that. Like Kanye's not stupid. Like he said that himself about Drake. Like he knows Drake is like a numbers guy and like it sells. So it's like And he sells too, but he just knows it's a different time. I feel like Kanye knows that. Like I feel like he accepted that, and he's just doing it for fun, like to be funny. Like I feel like Kanye's content where he's at in life. Like he's hopefully fixing his relationship. He got 4 kids. He's a billionaire. He's literally established his legend status. I feel like at this point he's just playing around. Like I really feel like he doesn't care that much.
I think you would have to care that much. He moves nuts. Like that text is crazy. Like it's just, like that can't be trolling.
I don't think it's trolling. I do think he really like, has issues with Drake and stuff like that. Like I don't think that's fake. I just feel like he just doesn't care as much, like as he did probably earlier in his career. Like I feel like he just likes messing with Drake. Like I feel like it's fun for him just to mess with him. But you have to admit, I mean, no, we already said this though, that Kanye low-key might have been throwing shots in Donda, but Drake in his betrayal verse like did kind of spark it. So it's kind of like Drake knew what he was doing.
But he didn't spark it. We already went through this.
I know, but I just said.
We knew he did.
But Drake, I mean, I don't feel like Kanye dragged Drake in any of his Donda verses.
No, he didn't. But again, it's the weird trying to stop on like somebody's date thing. That's weird. Like if that's your man, like why?
But that's not his man anymore. I think that's like clear. Unless they fixed it and then Drake thought it was all good, which he might have, because his verse was saying how he's gonna link Yeezy to get Jesus, whatever. But then a lot of people interpreted that as a diss too. So who knows if they ever really fix things. So I don't know. It's just interesting. I just think at the end of the day, this is how like rap and hip hop was rooted on, and I feel like people just should just enjoy the show and not be so caught up in it and like trying to analyze everything and just or criticizing, because how you criticizing the basis of the culture. This is what it's all about.
But the one thing that's weird to me, and I didn't really grow up in this era, but to some degree we kind of did. Like it's still a weird thing to have like grown men like recording videos laughing.
Well, yeah, Drake is super cringe. But like Kanye is not as cringy to me.
Yeah, but posting screenshots of text, like all that stuff is like weird.
I think it's funny.
But because you're a Kanye fan.
Yeah, but
all that stuff is weird to
me.
I
give Drake his credit, but laughing at a video like is cringe. Like so many people say he probably recorded that video like 4 times to make sure he got the perfect laugh. Like I just imagine sitting in your car just laughing, like, and then he posts a picture of him laughing. It's just like okay, it's just funny. I mean, Kanye posting screenshots but I mean, it's not that bad because like some of his screenshots that he posted aren't like.
It doesn't matter. All that shit is weird. Like if it's really just if you have a deeper beef, then that's something else. In my personal opinion, like go fight.
But how is that not translated into modern day hip hop? Like Biggie couldn't post screenshots of Tupac when there was no Twitter and no cell phones.
Yeah, I know that. But
so this is just like it's just with the times. This is I'm sure if they had smartphones and Twitter back then and Instagram, I'm sure Biggie and Tupac will be posting screenshots too. Like I just feel like it's just adjusting with the times.
But people even today still do that too. Like not posting screenshots or not doing any of that and really do just pull up on each other.
Yeah.
If it's beef.
But who knows if it's really, really beef? Like these people is hip hop. Like this is what the hip hop and rap is all about. The tit for tat stuff. Like they didn't really pull up on each other back then either. They kind of just do shots in music.
Who?
Like Tupac and Biggie. They didn't pull up on each other. The only thing was that time that Tupac thought that Biggie set him up. And that's when the beef started.
Okay.
At that studio.
But I mean, even if it is just music, like Kanye and 50 Cent did a press run together about going at each other. So it's just weird.
Yeah, but that was different. I don't think they ever actually had beef.
No, I know they didn't have beef, but
it was just like fun.
I don't know. It's just weird. I just could never imagine myself like making threats through a text and then posting a screenshot on Instagram. It's just weird. But
yeah, but
whatever.
It's a different world. You say that, but you're speaking from perspective of the world that we live and not the world that they live. It's a different world.
If I had lived in that world, I still wouldn't do that. Like it's just weird.
You don't know that. You can't. Really
I would 1,000% never do that. You know me enough to know that.
Well, yeah, but that you're you.
Yeah.
Kanye's Kanye.
Yeah.
And he's known for his antics.
Yeah.
So when he dies, we're all gonna look back at all the stuff and just appreciate the antics that he's given us in entertainment.
Nah.
I mean, if you're gonna criticize Kanye's posting text messages, you gotta criticize all the weird stuff that people do in beef.
Like what?
I don't know, like Drake laughing at the
I
camera.
just said that. I just said
Yeah.
I wasn't. This wasn't a Kanye attack. I just said all that stuff is weird. Like people going back and forth. It wasn't Kanye specific. I just think all of it's weird.
But then, how are you a hip hop fan if this is what hip hop's all about?
Because that to me isn't like. That's not related to. So, for example, one thing that used to happen in hip hop was the huge thing with Summer Jam, where it became a thing where you didn't want to get put on the Summer Jam screen, where people would expose stuff or do things like that. To me, that keeps it beef and music at the same time. Like you're performing and then you're like putting something on the stage. But like to me, what does this have to do with music? Like give the album or like say something on the album. Like drop a disc. Like do something music.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Kanye drops like a random single, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe not though, because he's been working on Down There for a minute, so he might just want to chill.
Or fight. That's my only thing. Like music or fight. But like the screenshot thing I could do without.
But I don't think Drake's a fighter. I don't think Kanye's a fighter either. But I don't think Drake's as hard as he acts like he is too. I feel like he depends on his mob ties to do stuff for him. I don't know. Because I feel like the Pusha T thing was the biggest exposure of Drake. Yeah, somebody who literally like, I mean, maybe he just took the L, but yeah, somebody who literally like dragged you bad and you just took it. Like, but yeah. I mean, speaking of Pusha T said he's dropping an album too. So that's interesting. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So who knows when, but it's about to get crazy.
Good. Hopefully it's an actual long album. I wish, to some degree, I wish people would get away from Kanye. Like,
yeah, I seen somebody say that in the Shade Room because Fabio announced that Kanye's working on his album, and people are like, he's gonna ruin it like he ruined Tayana. How do you say it? Tayana? I don't know how to say her name. Tayana, right? Tayana Taylor. Tayana Taylor. I don't know.
He does that a lot.
But I don't know if he ruins people's albums.
Yeah, he does.
But all those albums were good. Daytona was like, wasn't that album of the year? Didn't it win album of the year? Or no? No. It was nominated though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daytona
was fire. Nas' album was fire. I thought Tayana Taylor's album was fire too.
I thought Nas' album was really bad.
I liked it.
You liked it because Kanye was involved.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't like the songs.
Cop Shot the Kid was horrible.
No.
That song is terrible.
It had a good message.
No. It's a terrible sample flip too.
No.
But yeah, Daytona was cool, but like you, to some degree, working with Kanye takes away from your artistry, because I think he does push people to do something different than what they currently do, but I think that he takes away a lot of the freedom of what art, and this is just obviously assumptions, but
I mean, maybe it was a full album.
Because like, to me, when I watched the interview with Pusha T saying that he wanted more songs on the album and Kanye wouldn't let him, like, to me, like, that's like, all right, now you're impacting the person's artistry, and or the fact that he scrapped Daytona like a couple times. It's like, it's not even your album. It's Pusha T's album.
I guess. I mean, I like that whole era of the 7 songs though. Like, I thought that was cool, but I feel like if they're not all on board with that, then that's bad, because clearly Pusha T wasn't on board with it, with the 7 song thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But
I wouldn't want somebody to tell me how many songs I could put on my album just because I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we'll see though. I feel like Kanye being featured on his song is different, because like even the Academics tweeted today that like he could appreciate what Kanye does for artists, because he feels like Kanye, like, it's true that Kanye does push artists. Like even Nicki to this day thanks him for making her rewrite her Monsterverse, and then people were saying that this was Fabio's best verse on Off the Grid. So people are saying like, I don't know, they're giving him his credit for making artists push their pen a little bit more, I feel like. But
I don't like executive produce Kanye things, because it's one thing if Kanye produces your whole album or even produces songs on an album.
Yeah.
But I feel like when he has creative control over what you're doing,
Yeah, that's when it's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you really want him to. I feel like I don't know. We obviously don't know what it's like in the studio. We don't have any type of inner, like, what's it called, like inside scoop or inside visuals of what it actually is like. But I'm sure like he does probably hinder artists somewhat. But I feel like if I was a huge Kanye fan and like I was an artist, I would want him to executive produce at least one of my albums, just one, just to see what his vision is for me and my voice and my talents. And then that was it. That would be it. Like I would just want him to do one album. And maybe that's Fabio's thing. You know, I don't know if Kanye pushed Fabio, you know, like, oh, let me do your album. And Fabio just like accepting the opportunity. Or if Fabio wanted it and asked.
Probably asked. But who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Just like everybody wants a Jay-Z verse, even though they don't rap like anything like Jay-Z. Everybody wants a Jay-Z verse. Everybody wants a Kanye produced album. But
yes, that's what I'm saying. Like just one album, I think is cool.
But even still, it's
like just trust his vision. If you feel like he's hindering you, then just don't work with him. That's my whole thing. Just don't work with him if you don't want that creative control. And then maybe there is a middle ground that you could come with him if you just want him to help and not necessarily executive produce it. But then I feel like that defeats the whole thing. The whole purpose of it, just having a Kanye visioned album. Like if you're trusting his artistry, then just trust him and let him do his thing with your talents. But then if you don't want that, then maybe talk to him in a different way and have him meet you halfway. And like maybe not executive produce, maybe like just co-produce with you. I don't know. I feel like there's workarounds. I feel like Kanye's not that crazy, but I don't know. We hear stories.
Yeah, I was only getting that from what Teyana and
what Pusha T said. Yeah,
but
then. Yeah, I don't know if you just saw the Soulja Boy, what he just said.
No, I haven't been on the internet at all.
No, it just happened like 5 minutes ago. Like he's literally on a Twitter brand page saying how F Kanye and he's writing a diss track because Kanye sent him remote control, didn't use his verse.
No, well.
Everybody's literally laughing too because it's like, okay. Let me see.
Oh, well.
Let me go to his Twitter.
Make a better verse. I'm not going to stay on Kanye all day.
Yeah, because we're already 30 minutes.
But, yeah, I think that was it for music. Was Donda. I skipped through it because
the whole thing.
Yeah, I just skipped through it because it wasn't really any different than the last.
That's the only thing that sucks about listening parties is that it didn't like I like this rollout, but it isn't like I feel like the excitement of the album dropping didn't hit the same as it would since I heard the songs already.
Yeah, I hate the rollout.
Yeah, I mean the rollout was really cool. Like I liked how he rebuilt his house. I like how the second show it was the rebuilding of like the stadium that he was sleeping in. The first show was just him walking around. Like I think it was really cool. The concept of it was really cool. I just kind of low key wish I was hearing the songs for the first time because I feel like when you listen to the songs for the first time, it's like a different feeling. But I guess I got that feeling at the listening party.
What I would have liked for him to do, and this is something that comedians do, is that they'll tour a comedy show and then eventually put out the special of it being recorded. But when you're in there, everybody has to get their phones taken and nobody can record the content because they tour that same content all over the country or all over the world, depending on how big they are. And I would have preferred that, which is kind of like the way old listening parties used to, well, not old listening parties, how people normally do listening parties before the internet era was like, not before the internet era, but before like phones were so accessible and iPhones and everybody's in there posting and recording the party, is that like people would, they would only invite specific people to the listening party. Now it's just like who you are, like clout kind of get you into the listening party. Before it used to be, okay, the Fader, we're inviting them, Rolling Stone, we're inviting them, all these label people, magazines, media people, we invite them, and then they go back and report like, oh, like this song was crazy, there was this verse, there was that verse. I would have preferred for him to tour it.
Now we had Justin LeBoy doing that,
and not had anybody on the outside like us normal people have heard the album because it took away from it. Like, because I listened to it, I'm like, okay, well, I already have this in my phone right now.
Yeah, which kind of sucks. But I mean, at the same time, that's what, you know, basically the listening party was us listening to the album. Like it was the same. Like me actually, like that's why I set up on the TV and I made it like, you know, I hooked up the HDMI and everything because I wanted it to be like I was listening to the album for the first time. So I feel like I still got that feeling of listening to a song for the first time. I still got it. Like, could we sat here and listened to the album basically together when it dropped, when he first did the listening party. So I think it was cool. Maybe next time around he won't do this, but I feel like this was cool. This was different, and like this is what Kanye is like known for. Like this is like I'm sure people are gonna bite this. Like this was different, and it was cool.
People aren't gonna bite this.
Well, yeah, it'll be obvious. Yeah, it's too expensive. Too expensive. No, but this was like, yeah, it was cool. I could appreciate it for what it was. It's gonna be like a legendary rollout. Like nobody did this. Nobody was rebuilding their childhood home in a city. Like, so
I like the Life of Pablo show better personally.
Yeah, that one was cool because he showcased his fashion, his line, easy. So, but they both were cool from what they were. I could appreciate both.
Yeah.
But yeah, now he's talking about Universal put the album out without his approval. So I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can stop talking about him, but it's just stuff keeps coming up, and now like Soulja Boy's laughing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody's telling Soulja Boy like you're not gonna be on the album. Like, oh yeah, because Soulja Boy tweeted, okay, everybody said Drake will not give you a feature. Okay, I just can't. Twitter is funny, but yeah. What was I gonna say? I can't even hear myself now. What you just do?
No, because you spiking the.
Oh, my bad. But yeah.
Yeah. What else we got from music?
Oh, no, I can't myself. I don't think there's anything else. I guess I don't even want to talk about this topic. We just talked about Kanye, but I was gonna say like if he's demonic, since everybody think he's demonic, and the show was a ritual. We could just like talk about it for like 2 minutes. It doesn't even have to be a long conversation, but I just think it's how I feel like I saw somebody say like they feel like it's Black people specifically. Anytime Black people see something that's like art that they don't understand, it's demonic and crazy to them. Like I don't understand how like something's a ritual. Like I just feel like what he was doing was performance art. Like I feel like that was like something you would see on Broadway. Like that was like art to me. It wasn't a ritual or like satanic. Like they saw Kim wearing the outfit and it's satanic. I'm like, that's a Balenciaga outfit, the same brand that you guys gassed up and was wearing the sock shoes, but now it's demonic. I don't know. I just think it's funny because if you want to talk about cults and stuff, like I was saying, like I feel like religion's a cult. Like that's just my harsh opinion on it. And I also feel like nowadays everybody like talks about manifesting. Is that not demonic to you? Like or like weird to you? Like you got rocks that you rubbing together, manifesting somebody. You got people buying crystals now, you know. Mm-hmm. People buying crystals and rocks, praying that they can manifest somebody into their life and manifest money and manifest this, manifest that. Everything's about manifest. Just praying for something to happen without any work. But Kim wearing a Balenciaga dress and Kanye having the cars drive around in representation of a funeral procession and him mourning his mom is demonic. Him being on fire, which is a reference to the Bible, is demonic. But praying to a rock, praying to crystals, and casting spells basically is not demonic. Okay. So
even the word demonic is cultish.
Yeah.
Because that comes from people with a specific belief, which is there's no difference between cults and religion except
it's not.
One is generally accepted.
You guys literally like I don't want to offend any religions, but it's just like sit there and really think about what you're doing when you're in church. Like it's
not even necessarily that religion. I think religion fits the bill of being a cult, but if my thing is just like if you're gonna call one thing a cult, then call everything a cult because it is.
Look up a definition of a cult and then compare it to what you're doing. It's cult vibes. And then if you don't go to church, you get criticized. Like, why do I have to go to church to show my belief in my faith? And you're criticizing me about it. And like the way that a lot of people, like so many wars in this world are rooted in religion. And you guys are worried about Kanye. Like,
yeah, this says
so much death in this world. The Holocaust was about a religion, Jewish people. Like, there's so much hatred and evil happen in this world around religion. You got to worry about Kim in a Balenciaga dress.
The definition of a cult is a system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object.
What does that sound like?
Most religions.
Exactly. And another thing too, like if you're so in love with your religion, why are you so even worried? Like they say that for people who love God so much, why you speak so much life into the devil? You speak so much life into it. Like why is everything demonic? Why is everything this? Like why you put so much attention towards something that you think is evil by constantly talking about it?
Yeah.
And it'd be the same people who are out here having premarital sex, jumping from man to man to man, talking about
Or
if they
woman.
listen, or a woman, talking about if they listen to Donda, they're not going to heaven. I mean, you're not going to heaven for having premarital sex then either. Are you? For drinking alcohol? For talking smack about people? For being judgmental? If you really want to talk about it. People are just crazy to me, and I don't know if they really, really feel that way, or if they're just doing it for likes on the shade room. But it's like, you guys need help. Clearly, like, just because something that's not art to you is demonic and evil, like.
Yeah, we could do a full breakdown on a later episode, but another definition is a relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. So the thing about that is, the thing to highlight is that it's a relatively small group and not a large group. So how I was saying generally accepted, people that follow, like a cult could eventually become a religion if just more people follow it.
That's literally what happened. All these religions that started with small groups of people way back then that spread their word all over the place. Like people were literally, these European people were forcing Christianity, or I don't know what it was, Christianity or was it Catholic religion? Like they were forcing out to
It was Christianity.
Christianity, right? Coming to Africa and forced that on our people.
And now we all believe it.
But you think Kim wearing a Balenciaga dress? Okay.
Yeah. Just last thing, a lot of Black people's beliefs about like the occult and the devil and ghosts and things like that comes from slavery too. I'm not hanging on this point.
No, it's true. That's why Black people are so scared of everything. And everything's evil and satanic. Oh, so scary.
Because to prevent slaves from committing suicide, the white slave owners used to say that if you kill yourself, you're going to go to hell, and then that just perpetuated a long lineage of people being scared of death and
scared of everything,
scared of the devil and scared of hell, and that's where a lot of that came from our people over here. In terms of Africa, it was just because of sort of similar reasons, but mostly just because they forced the religion on people, and that if they didn't follow it, that they would kill them. But I'm not here to like kill Christianity or anything like that.
Yeah, me neither. But
like, yeah, we can.
It's just
move.
Like my whole thing is just I'm just all about keeping the same energy and keeping the same mindset and stuff. Like if you're gonna break down and criticize one thing, you got to criticize it across the board. Because there's a lot of issues with a lot of things in this world. But everybody's so concerned about Kanye. Like, it just blows my mind. So that's the only reason. Like, we're not bashing anybody's religion, but it's just that you have to you can't be hypocritical. And there's a lot of hypocrites in religion, a lot of hypocrites. And then they justify it with something. Like, they use the Bible to justify a lot of things and manipulating for their own, like, narrative. So that's the only thing I don't like. It's just hypocrisy. But yeah, we can move on to the next thing. Did you have anything else music related?
Actually,
on your list?
I actually have one thing. Here, let me find the quote. It's music adjacent, so it's kind of about music, but not really. So Cam Newton, who is the quarterback for the Patriots, got criticized by a former Patriots quarterback, Scott Zolak, who said that he believes that rap music is hurting Cam Newton's football playing ability.
Mm-hmm. You're a white guy who said this? A white guy said this?
Come on.
His name's Scott, whatever.
not black people named Scott, but
no, yeah, I never met a black person named Scott.
I have. But of course, like a black person would never say that. So,
yeah.
Yeah, that one was funny. Maybe the rap music.
Wild.
I don't even want to shoot him bail, but just for argument's sake, maybe he was trying to say that because there's always the thing that rappers want to be athletes and athletes want to be rappers.
Yeah.
And they
Like
try
he's
to,
trying to do the lifestyle.
yeah, like athletes try to switch to become rappers and rappers try to switch to become athletes. So maybe he was saying the lifestyle of going out and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because that was like the whole thing. I guess you could say with like the Giants. Remember that one picture of the Giants on the boat
Yeah.
with Drake? Wasn't he with Drake?
No. It was just a
Oh,
team.
it's just them, yeah. But what's the name? Be with Drake. Odell, yeah. So yeah, I guess I like cause that was like the running joke that after they went on that trip, that boat ride, whatever, that they haven't won like a single. They won like 5 games since that picture has been taken.
Yeah. So I just thought it was I just shot him a little bit too much bail, but like I just thought it's just funny how they think.
Yeah,
I could
because you could say that for any genre.
Yeah, like I don't know why people don't, because I've listened to country music because I'm a music connoisseur, so I listen to a bunch of stuff. They get off crazy stuff in rock
Yeah.
music. They have like the most insane things ever.
And you could say the same for any artist. Like, I mean, any athlete that they might be try to perpetuate this celebrity lifestyle that's meant for musicians. Why is it just rappers that you're trying to call out?
Well, I was shooting him bail. I think he actually literally meant rap music, but I was just saying, maybe he meant lifestyle, but I know for a fact he didn't. But yeah. So he's just talking about the rap music itself is making him a worse quarterback. Listening to Quavo makes him not be able to throw as far, I guess. But yeah, they just think crazy. Like it's even like there's so much like racism in the NFL is like crazy. It's literally like slave
It's so
plantation.
weird comparing it to the NBA. The NBA is like kind of some underlying stuff here and there, but overall, NBA is like a complete opposite association versus the NFL. Like the NFL is crazy. Like it's bad.
Yeah, because even baseball is not like that.
Yeah.
Because most of like the greatest players ever
are Hispanic or Latin.
Yeah. Or black.
Yeah.
Well, I think the MLB is interesting because it's pretty even in terms of like the legends that like there's a lot of legends from all over. It's like so diverse, but like that diversity exists. It's such a weird thing. Like the NBA is not as diverse as the MLB and the NFL is not as diverse as the MLB, but the NBA is so inclusive, but like the NFL is not. Because both of those organizations are both predominantly black, and it's just interesting the dynamic between the two.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you have a good person running the organization for, instead of somebody that's not. But I just thought that was a interesting thing to bring up.
They just, I don't know, a lot of white people I feel like need to really dig deep and realize what they're saying and what they mean. Because I don't know. I do feel like there's a form of ignorance, but I do think a lot of times they know what they're doing, what they're saying. Like it's rooted somewhere, and like I don't know. I feel like they need to try to dig down deep and understand why they say certain things and why they feel certain ways, and it all points back down to racism.
Yeah,
because it's just crazy that you criticize one form of music just because it's the most popular. Like you're saying country music and rock music, they say I've heard some crazy stuff in some of their songs, but you worry about rap music just because your favorite genre is not as popular. Sorry. And your favorite genre was also created by black people, so don't forget that. Well, not even black people, African Americans created so many of these music genres that people love.
Well, African Americans are black.
We are black, but black could be an umbrella term for everybody who's black. Even if you really dig deep, the term black actually specifically came out of the African American. Yeah. That's why sometimes if you say to somebody who's like from Haiti or something that they're not black, they'll get offended. But it's like when you really dig deep, the term black really is kind of like, it evolved, but it really at first just came out of America. Nobody was calling each other black anywhere else in the world except America during slavery. If you really want to get deep, but we're not here to talk about that today. Yeah. But I guess speaking of Africa, we could talk about Beyonce. She was wearing that Tiffany blood diamond.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was a blood diamond until I watched a YouTube video the other day. I think the necklace is really pretty, and it's cool that she's like the first Black woman to wear the necklace, and like I think the fourth woman ever. I think like Lady Gaga wore it, and like two other people. I'm not sure who. I think oh my God, what's her name? That actress from a long time ago. She was like an actress or a model. You know who I'm talking about. I think she starred in the movie Breakfast in Tiffany's.
No idea. Never watched that movie.
You know who I'm talking about.
I do.
Audrey Hepburn.
I don't even know who that is.
I think she had it. She wore it too. So I don't know. I wanted your kind of like opinion on that. Like, do you think Beyonce knew it was a blood diamond, as intelligent as she is, and Jay-Z, because they're criticizing him too because he was in the shoot. Do you think they knew it was a blood diamond, and do you think that if they didn't know, that now that they do know, well, I guess you can't really take the campaign back, but do you think now that she knows, she would have still wore it?
I think that if she did not know, if she knew that she would not wear it, but I think that people also, I got 2 big points about this one. So for one, every diamond is a blood diamond. All gold is blood gold.
Yeah,
everything is.
Thing that we watched, that Dirty Money thing, gave me a new perspective on gold.
Everything is like that because all these mines and things are not in they're not in America. Like you had
developed countries.
Yeah, like because of environmental damage that's done. Like it takes a lot to mine oil and a lot to mine natural minerals that are taken from the earth. So it's like, to me, it's just, you got to be consistent. Like, don't buy an iPhone, then don't buy a laptop, don't buy anything, because all these things have the precious metals that people are overseas. Well, everything's overseas to America, but like, you know, whether it's South America or Africa, where most of the stuff comes from.
Even
Africa,
your clothes.
Everything.
Clothes is like, these fast fashion brands are infamously known to be like their clothes come from sweatshops. Like, so yeah, I agree. Like, you got to keep that same energy. You can't be criticizing Beyonce because she's famous and it's easy to like, you waiting for something to say. You're waiting for something to critique.
Yeah.
When every day you are perpetuating something that would get you canceled in the real world. Like, I mean, if you were a celebrity.
Yeah. So all gold is not like, there's some impact. Like, you don't go to the Amazon rainforest or anywhere in South America and you just show up and like dig in the ground and you find gold. You have to tear trees down. Mm-hmm. You have to destroy the landscape and go ahead and find the gold. And that's like that with any jewel. Like, if you wear anything, like I got silver on, I'm sure it's impacted by that too. I just think the whole concept of blood diamonds was just one of those things where people randomly have a moment where they're like, oh my God, I had no idea. And then now that just became like a full thought process. Like, that wasn't always a thing, but that's always how it is. Like, everybody is so attracted by like diamonds and shiny and jewels and all this other stuff. That's just unfortunate recourse of it. And the reason why that stuff isn't done in America is because of that. That's how it works. And
like, the thing is, like, I'm not sure the complete story about this specific diamond. I think there was like a story of it coming from South Africa or something. There was like a specific story. But like you were saying, though, like all these celebrities that wear diamonds every day, I'm sure some of those diamonds have are blood diamonds, or some of those diamonds have like a really dark story to them.
All of them do. Like, we were just watching.
And nobody says anything. Like, you guys are out here buying the fake version of it at the kiosk at the mall.
Yeah. Everybody is responsible. Even in the Dirty Money doc, like he was saying, the guy that was responsible for the organization that investigates this stuff said that 100% of gold in the U.S. is dirty. Wow. The people were selling the gold. Necklace, probably. The people.
I got this necklace so long ago, though. I was like 9. I was 9. It was a gift. Anyway.
100%. He said they were selling the gold to the U.S. Mint. That's our U.S. government, and they declined to be interviewed for the documentary. So all this stuff is nasty.
Yeah.
All this mining and everything is disgusting.
And like you said, there's metals in
phones. There's precious metals
the phone that you were writing a rant about Beyonce on has metals in it.
Has precious metals that somebody probably might have potentially died for. If you look at the beginning of Uncut Gems, where the guy was about to die, like that's how this works. Child slaves, all this stuff. That's just what it is. So for me, it's almost like the people that try to cancel Bezos for being so rich. So it's like, but like, don't use his services. Don't go use Netflix. Don't use any of the other companies that Amazon
Yeah, like that's my biggest thing. People
uses.
benefit so much off of everything that they criticize, and like it's just so crazy to me. Like live a minimal life then. Like people like criticize so much. It's like they don't use none of this stuff. Like
Yeah, you don't have to
build it
sell
on your
truth.
own. If you don't believe in capitalism, go outside and go cut down a tree yourself. Build a house yourself. Don't benefit from a system that you bash. Don't benefit from anything that you bash.
My other
Like it could be bad. Like I could agree that it is bad. Like it's very unfortunate what goes on to get these things. But it's like I'm not gonna sit here and criticize it so heavily when I'm benefiting from it.
and the worst part about it is all this stuff is useless. Like
Yeah,
it's stupid.
it's jewelry.
Yeah, like it only
It's literally jewelry.
things only have the value that we put on it, because the whole concept is like, okay, diamonds and silver and gold, these things are hard to obtain, which is true. Like not even just this, but rubies, emeralds, all that stuff is difficult to obtain. So there's some sort of
Like
intrinsic
status to having
intrinsic
it.
value of it. But even still, like if diamonds are hard to find, like humans still have the ability to be like, okay, it's hard to find, who cares?
Yeah, like we literally create a value to everything. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah. So, but my other point with this was, I think that Black people need to stray away from like we care so much about white validation, and this is one of those things. Like if this was a Black brand, you would have no Black person like striving to be one of those people, like to put on, like it's a necklace.
Yeah, and that's the only thing I could like.
It's the same thing with
I
the
love
Grammys.
Beyonce. Beyonce's like one of my top artists. Like when I talk about Kanye, Nicki is up there, and then Beyonce is number 3. Like been a fan forever. I've been to her concert in 2006, the B-Day concert. Like I've been a fan forever. And I love Beyonce, but I do feel like she's hypocritical, and I feel like she like plays this whole pro-Black thing, and I think she is, but I do feel like she also like falls into the category of wanting that white validation and wanting that like I think she loves her status. Like she loves being ritzy and rich. Like I feel like she loves it, and it's obvious. She says it in her music. She says it a lot. So
And she should, but we need to
and she should.
we need to
She
stop
should,
like
definitely.
the whole chasing the white things. Like
Yeah.
we want the Tiffany diamond. It's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like same thing with the Grammys. We're chasing the thing, like Kanye said, like in the Ego Death verse, we're chasing something we already have. Like we want a seat at the table so bad when we're the people that push
We
the
are the
culture.
table.
Yeah, we push the culture. Like we build our own table. We go sit somewhere else, but we would never be able to just accept that. We can never buy Black. We can never do anything in our own lane in the same way the other group does, because we want that validation. So to me, it's a stupid necklace. Like
The necklace is pretty.
Yeah.
I thought it was, and like the pictures were fire. Like I liked her everything, her hair, makeup, the dress. Like,
and
it was,
it's historic. You don't find gems that big. Like if we want to get into our gemology bag, that's just a fact. You don't find things that are that big. So yeah, in terms of the rarity of it, yeah, cool. Okay, you put some history on it, cool. But even still, it's like, nah, I'm not putting on, like I wouldn't feel, ooh, I gotta put on the Tiffany, but I don't live that lifestyle. So
Yeah.
you know, that's just my opinion.
yeah. Ooh, that swallow sounded crazy. I wonder if it picked up
They
on
definitely
the
picked that up. It sounded nuts.
Need to drink water, but yeah, I guess I don't know. The topic is kind of wrapped up. I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always interesting when people like as big as Beyonce get called out too, but there was still a lot more love than hate. People don't like canceling people like Beyonce and Drake. They don't like canceling them. So, all right. So I guess our next thing. Did you have any other topics?
No.
I guess the next chunk of or segment of this, we could talk about Twitter topics, Twitter debates, because people love to debate on Twitter. Twitter's like the best place to go to get mad and to see how stupid people are. But there's been 3 topics these last week. I mean, this one topic's not really Twitter related. It's kind of just general. But the 2 main topics that I've seen on Twitter since last week were there was a flower discourse and people talking about, and I've seen this topic many times already, but it came up again. People talk about the importance of like the hotels that you stay in on trips. So we can talk about the flower one first. So basically, there was like, I think it was somebody with a blue check. I don't know who he was. I forgot. But he was saying, I think he was being funny too. I think he was just trolling. But he was saying how his wife wants flowers and he doesn't get them for her, and he wants to know why girls like flowers so much. And then everybody was mad. All these girls were cursing him out, saying your wife deserves better. All that. I honestly think he might have been trolling, but I think he honestly just wanted to know like why women like flowers so much. And a lot of people, some people gave him an answer, valid answers, but people said that for them it's like it's because it's pretty and it's like a symbol of like just love and care, and it's like it's cheap. You could just go pick them up when they were home, and it just shows like that you're thinking of her and everything. Me personally, I think flowers are nice. I do like flowers. I don't care to receive them randomly. Like if you did give me them, I'd be like, oh, they're cute. But like usually you give me flowers on like special occasions. Me personally, the flowers are cute, but then they die. They're annoying. Like you do all this stuff, try to keep them alive, they die, and then they stink. So for me, I don't really care to receive flowers that much. I rather like receive something that I can keep, like jewelry. Like even if you got me like a picture of us framed, like I like stuff like that because that's more so you could keep it. I think flowers are cool too though because you just keep getting them and could dispose of them. So I don't see anything wrong with wanting flowers. And I feel like every woman is different, and I feel like if that's what your girl wants, then just why not get them for her, But yeah, I feel like they be debating about anything on Twitter, and it's just funny like how that's a debate. Getting people flowers. So another thing too, that just leads to a bigger conversation, how I feel like a lot of people who go on Twitter love to give their 2 cents about what works for relationships and what doesn't and this and that. And I feel like most people who give debate, no, but I come from us being together for so long, so I feel like I have a fair background. It's like people who literally haven't even made it past a year in a relationship. No, like there's people who never even been in a serious relationship that always give advice and unsolicited advice and their 2 cents. I'm like, why don't you actually get a relationship? Like, imagine me giving a doctor advice, and I never practiced a day in my life. I'm not a doctor. Like I feel like you can't. Like people will try to say, oh well, I know what I should be getting in a relationship because of the bad experience I had. No, I feel like once you actually get through a long relationship, then your advice is valid. Like I feel like so many people give advice in 2 cents, speaking from inexperience. Like you can't be inexperienced giving advice in your 2 cents about relationships. So yeah, what do you think about the flower discourse?
I'm black and white. Do whatever works in your relationship.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's really that simple. Like, yeah, it's really that simple. That's why it's so funny when people write think pieces, because it's like, it's that simple. If your girl wants flowers, then give her flowers. If you don't want to buy your girl flowers, then get a girl who doesn't want flowers.
I'm like probably the biggest weirdo ever. I kind of mostly use social media as a form of like increasing my value for like business. So like that's how I view social media. I don't really view it to be social in that sense, but it's like, I just hate people that give their opinion on anything. Like even if it's not a negative one, I just like, it's just an interesting thing where people, and again, I keep referencing this Tyler Creator video, but it's just like very rare that you see a celebrity be so transparent about their opinions on social media and like just how people's behaviors are and stuff like that. But he brought up a point where he was saying that everybody wants to feel like they have like, ooh, I got to say something, like I'm important, as if they have value, but you don't. Like you're still you. Nobody cares what you think. And I think people need to have that sort of mentality when they give their opinions on things. And I think that's applicable to whether it's a positive opinion or a negative opinion. Like nobody cares. You're not important. I don't value anybody's like opinion in that sense, unless I'm selling a product. Like obviously you care about what your customer says about your product if you can improve it. Yeah. But other than that, if it's not about business, then I don't care about somebody's opinion on my relationship, about my business dealings, about my family, about anything, if it's not related to me making money. Because at the end of the day, I don't know who you are. You're some rando at some random part of the world that I have no idea. Like you're not in my scope of thought. I don't go through a day knowing who these random people are. So any of those sorts of
Yeah.
opinions, I wish people would just keep their opinions to
I
themselves.
mean, it's cool to have debates though. Like I feel like debating is healthy. Like it's healthy to have debates. You know, like I feel like it increases logic. It increases like debate skills. It increases social skills. So like I don't think nothing's wrong with it. It's just the topic of the debates are always so dumb and weird. And also, like I said, like I feel like you can't really go into a debate with inexperience or like not even like either inexperience or a mastery of the subject that you're debating. And most people on Twitter don't have a mastery of any of the subjects that they like to debate about and don't have experience with any of the subjects they want to debate about. So it's like leave it to the people who actually are smart. Like I love seeing people go back and forth on Twitter and you could tell they're educated. I'm like, oh snap, like these people are giving out good points. Like, but the majority of people on Twitter are stupid. They went to school for something dumb. Like they didn't learn anything intelligent in college. They didn't pay attention in college. They just got their degrees. A lot of people didn't even finish high school. Like I'm like, all right, look at these people who are making these tweets. They're like 18, 17, still like seniors and juniors. Like, yeah. But I feel like the main thing is a lot of these debates that people want to have come from a place of projection. Like that's another thing too. When you have debates, you can't really be biased, and people are too biased. They're too biased based off their own experiences in life, and they think what their experience is and was is like that's what's the word like.
Oh, you don't say.
Like they think that's like law or whatever. Like, oh, I went through this, so this is what it is. I had a man that didn't buy me flowers, so all men are trash and they don't care about what their girl wants or pay attention. So you know all the billions of men in this world just cause the man that you had didn't give you flowers. So now all men don't pay attention to what their woman wants and don't care what their woman wants. But that same day you retweeted Ari's post of her getting flowers from Moneybagg Yo. I'm like, wait, I thought you said men don't get flowers.
Yeah, again, I disagree with the debating being valuable because nobody on Twitter has any social skills.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
So I don't find any social media stuff to be valid because nobody can have an educated conversation about
exactly.
anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like when I see people who actually have educated debates on Twitter, like I like that. Like that's why I make sure I only follow people like that
And
on my new account. My old account, oh my god, people I found were annoying.
people don't even want to debate. They just want to say how they feel. Like they just
They
want
don't,
to.
and they just want to project.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's just one of those things. Just do whatever works for you. And that's why I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just the weirdo, but like, that's just how I view a lot of things. It's like, there's so many rules and regulations on how people should live their lives, but it's like, just nobody's.
And to your point too, like if you want to get that educated debate, you could go on YouTube probably and find two educated people debating. Like you don't necessarily need to get that from Twitter. So I could agree with that point that like, I think the idea of people having debates on Twitter would be nice, but unfortunately, majority of people in this world and in this country are very uneducated, don't have social skills, don't have emotional intelligence, any of that. So it's like, sometimes it ends up being more so frustrating than anything. Going on Twitter trying to keep up with a back and forth debate on a thread, like you said, like you could go somewhere else, go to YouTube. Go on to like probably Netflix. You find debates. Like you could probably watch the debates on anywhere. But unfortunately, I guess this is hard because like if you want to see people debate these pop culture topics, it's like where would you even go for that?
Find another hobby because it's just even with Clubhouse, which made it so people could actually talk to each other in a public format live. It was just a bunch of idiots just saying whatever in like a room, and it's just like. Everybody's so opinionated without having any education or even
Or experience,
or just even wanting to hear an opposing view, or wanting to learn. Like nobody wants to hear somebody say that they're wrong or that they have a different view without like, because then you just end up getting attacked by the other person. Like we were talking the other day about two generations learned how to do math equations differently. So some people think it's this answer, some people think it's that answer. and this group of people is just attacking the other one instead of trying to actually educate
Educate.
anybody. So you talk about social skills. People don't even have the ability to have. They don't even have social skills.
What's your opinion though on like the presidential debates? Could they be coming at each other crazy sometimes too? And those are the two people who like, you know, one of them is going to be the figurehead for this country.
Yeah, but those people don't even write their own speeches. So,
True.
Like, I mean,
but I'm saying like in very educated debates, so you do get that snarky comments though.
You can have snarky comments, but if it's educated, then that's different. Saying somebody's an idiot because of something is like, because you don't agree with it is crazy. That's like,
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That's antisocial skills. Like, that's not even that to me is insane. Like, I would never say somebody's in an area because I love music. I feel like I'm highly educated in music. I would never call somebody an idiot for their opinion on the way a hi-hat sounds or like a snare sounds.
But what if their opinion is like them trying to, not their opinion, but what they're saying it is like, because I feel like in a debate you can't say idiotic things.
Yeah, you can.
Like that are an opinion that you think are fact. Like I think as more people do more so that judging when people are talking, making it what they're saying is a fact. Like it's one thing to be like going back to the Kanye and Drake thing, you say, oh, Kanye's the better artist. That's your opinion. But then if you try to make it seem like it's a fact, like, oh, it's a definite fact that he's a better artist and this is why, like you give your opinion. But if you're saying it's a fact, you can't really, like, it isn't a fact. Even with the stats doesn't make it a fact. So I think that's when those snarky comments come in, when people try to make their opinion a fact. But because your opinion can't be, well, your opinion can be a fact because there's some things, but not really, because that's kind of.
Yeah, stating a fact and opinion is two different things.
Different things, yeah.
But even with a comment like that, you could still reply in an educated manner. You would just, I mean, in that, if you wanted to talk about it, you'd be like, Kanye would, of course, be the better artist because he's part of the influence that makes Drake be able to make the music that he makes. So for you to say that Kanye is not as good of an artist would make you say that Drake isn't as good as Drake is. You could just reply like educational.
But what about like in the presidential debates? Because a lot of that was people coming at Trump's opinion on things, which a lot of people agree that some of Trump's opinions are like idiotic. Like some of the things that he thinks people should do, some of the ways that like how men think women shouldn't get abortions. I think that's an idiotic opinion, because who are you as a man to tell me what I should do with my body? Like, so I feel like, what about that? Like, can some things like that be like, you're dumb for thinking as a man that you could tell me to do my body? Or do you still think that in those situations that you would like try to not really like come to a common ground, but like kind of like go easy on them?
I think that in my past history, when I've had those scenarios where I feel like somebody is just very dense and is not understanding anything, that I just eventually will remove myself from the conversation. Like if I eventually, usually what's happened is that I'll go back and forth, and then it gets to a point where it's like they'll say something and I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is not even worth my time, because if this is your mindset on this, there's no point in me sitting here going back and forth with you for hours or days trying to explain a point that you need to be more educated on, and I don't have the time to do that. I think for like the abortion topic specifically, I think that people, I mean, that's a tough one. I would hate to give my solid stance on it. You know what? No, I'm not soft. I'll give my solid stance. Like sometimes with these things, I'm like, I don't want to say anything that's concrete, but my concrete opinion on it is that I don't necessarily believe in abortion at all. Whoa. See, then that's already messed up. I don't believe in abortion in the sense that, like, it's tough for me to. Things just go so deep, because that's part of my, like, the problem with my thought process is that, like, I account for every possible scenario. So I was gonna say there's like 40 different types of contraception that exist.
But you can get raped.
I didn't even get there yet. But I'm just saying, my opinion is that I don't think people should be getting abortions when there's so many forms of contraception that exist, and then you get pregnant and then you're like, oh my God. The only thing that I can make that argument for is that there are some economic impacts as well as health impacts, that if that's their concern.
And education. A lot of the low economic people aren't even educated on contraception.
I'm getting to my points. That could be an impact as well. But it's just tough for me to be like, okay, people are getting pregnant nonstop. It's like you're kind of controlling that. It's just tough for me to be like, to be like, yeah, I'm all for people having sex, getting pregnant, and just killing off the baby when there's so many different options available. Because there is even still like condoms, they give out condoms for free.
But I still feel like at the end of the day, it's a woman's choice. Like, how are you going to tell somebody else what to do with their body? At the end of the day, it's their choice. I feel like childbirth is dangerous. Women die in childbirth. So who are you as a man to tell a woman that she should give birth to that child? Especially if she can't, if she has issues, if it's like, you could, sometimes like doctors could say like, oh, this is going to be a dangerous pregnancy for you. And that's why some women get abortions. So who are you as a man to be like, no, that child has a chance. Now the woman and the child both died from childbirth.
I just think, so my stance on it is not one that's telling a woman what to do. I just, like, maybe if I say my complete point, it'll make sense. So I think that any sort of rape or any, what would be the word? Non-consensual pregnancy, without a doubt, you should be able to get an abortion. You shouldn't even have to pay for it. Whoever raped you should have to pay for it. Because you've heard my stance. I'm not going to repeat it again but you've heard my stance on how I feel about that kind of stuff. So that is without a doubt. In terms of like pregnancies being dangerous, I don't know if I've come across that too often, if ever, where I've heard that people got abortions because the pregnancy would be dangerous, because I mean, at that point the baby would have to already be that developed for them to even know that. So I haven't come across that personally.
You could have, as a woman, you could have things that before you even got pregnant, that doctors can notice about your body and your uterus and everything that predisposes you to unhealthy, high risk pregnancy. Like having high blood pressure makes you high risk pregnancy. Like Tyann Taylor just gave out some information about an issue that she had with her liver that made both her pregnancies high risk. Like, my family has a history of high blood pressure and preeclampsia. That could predispose me to a high risk pregnancy since I runs in the family. So it's like there are a lot of health factors of people that doctors could notice. Like there's been times where doctors will even tell women before, like women who are planning to get pregnant, that this is a high risk pregnancy. Like even what Kim Kardashian went through with her, I forgot exactly what happened with her, but the doctor even said they try to do surgeries, but they even said like, we suggest you get a surrogate because if you were to get pregnant, it's very high risk.
So if you do get pregnant, would you say that you're accepting that risk?
Yeah, but getting pregnant, even with contraception, is still possible. Even though birth control is like 99%, there's still that 1%. Something could go wrong. So, I don't know. I just feel like at the end of the day, it's a woman's choice, and a woman should be able to. I do agree with there being a limit to when you could get an abortion. Like, I feel like obviously after a certain time, you shouldn't. But I don't know. Obviously, I'm on both sides. Like, I do think a lot of people are very irresponsible. Like, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I just feel like at the end of the day, the choices of the woman, and you should just let women do whatever they want to do with their body that they were born with, and their body that has to push a child. I feel like men give a lot of opinion on stuff about women, and they don't even know the physical pain of holding a child for 9 months, like the discomfort of holding a child for 9 months. Like, that's almost a whole year of your life that you're holding a whole human being in your stomach. And then after that, the stuff that you deal with, just a lot. So I feel like until a man could experience even as simply as a period bleeding for a week every 28 days, it's not fun. And a lot of men literally live this life would never have to deal with any of that. It's just so. I feel like it's hard for a man to really tell a woman what to do with their bodies when men will never even know the pain and the discomfort of being a woman. So, yeah. That's my opinion. But we just wasn't even supposed to be talking about abortion. This wasn't supposed to be an abortion topic. It's just that I was talking about how can you call somebody an idiot in those debates? But I guess it's still the same thing. If you're fully educated, then yeah, I guess you could be an idiot if you're uneducated in a debate. But if you are educated, then that's kind of rude to say, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because presidents they're not debaters.
They're not.
They're just business people.
And the smartest people are usually behind the scenes. The presidents are just the figurehead.
And they have to do all those like sort of comments because that's the first thing that people gossip on social media afterwards. And I'm like, now I'm going to vote for Trump because he said that.
Like even what's the name still has that meme. Kamala. I can still say her name wrong. Kamala, when she's speaking. And when she was kind of like going crazy in her vice president debate, but yeah. So the next, I guess, this wasn't really a debate, but it was just a topic. Like people talking about hotels on vacations and if they're important or not to have a nice hotel on trips. Because some people's mindset is hotels just where I go to sleep, but then some people's like, no, I'm in a whole different country and I'm going to be in a safe resort. I'm going to be in a safe hotel. I'm going to be in a nice hotel because, I value niceness. Like, even though I'm not about to be in like, I don't know, Greece, but sleeping in like a hostel. That's just me. But a lot of people feel that way. Like if you're going to go someplace nice, I get like how hotels are just where you put your head at, but why not also have like an experience, like just to say you're in somewhere nice, but to sleep in like a 1-star, 2-star hotel, So that was like another Twitter thing. Is our hotels important on trips? I think they are. That's my stance. I think they're important. If I'm leaving the country, 4-star minimum. 5-star is what I shoot for. Like my birthday, the place that we're staying has 5 stars. The place that we were supposed to go to in Bali, that I booked all 3 hotels with 5 stars. So I feel like I have a standard because, like, especially if I'm going to a foreign country where I don't really know much about it, I'm gonna make sure I'm somewhere safe, and secure. And also, I'm like not the type to go on a trip with a whole bunch of people and have like 10 of us in one room just to split the price. Like, no. That's just not me. But that's just me. That's just me. I don't judge people who do. But I'm just saying that's just me personally because it's like I value a certain experience myself. And for me, vacation should be, or not even should be, but for me it is. I want it to be a luxury experience all around. I want to feel like I'm on vacation. I want to feel like I'm, away from my regular life, my regular day-to-day. So yeah. What do you think? Oh, also, sorry, too. It depends on the vacation. Because I've been on road trips and stayed at like a motel with my grandma. Like we stayed at like motels literally when we went camping. We were only there for the night. Like it's not like I went there specifically to go there and stay there for a few days. Like, cause literally we would get to hotels at midnight and be out by 6 a.m. So it depends on the trip too.
I think that who you really are as a person is exposed when you have money. So I think that if people had money, then they wouldn't do those things. So that's just my opinion.
That's true. That's kind of short straight to the point. Yeah, that is true. Especially the way that people want to live. They'll like make the perception on social media like where they're at and make it look like it's such a luxury experience, but then you never see the room. It's like, let's see the room.
Yeah.
Let's see how many of you are in that room.
I just think if people had money, they wouldn't be 10 to a room or they wouldn't try to skimp out on certain things, because if they had it, they would have the car that they would want. They would live where they would want. They would do all these different things. So if you have just the abundance of money and resources to do things, what you do with that, to me, exemplifies who you are as a person. Because the reason why I don't have a bunch of luxury watches is because I don't have a bunch of luxury watches type money. But if I had the money, then I would go do that. So that just money amplifies who you already are. In terms of hotels specifically, I stay in nice hotels all the time. I never do motels. That's not a
No,
slight to,
motels are bad. Like,
it's not a slight to motels. It's just that, like, because I have had the experience with my parents as well as just traveling on my own, just like,
there's certain stuff you would do for yourself. Like the same way how we say like us living in this apartment, downgrading from here will literally be like no option.
yeah.
Like you can't, like, downgrading from what you're used to is.
Yeah, I just think that it's do whatever works for you. Like, I'm not gonna be like I'm not gonna try to put shame on people that do things, but I just know that people do things like, because we had this with the sneakers, where people calling people that buy real sneakers crazy, and they buy fakes or bags or whatever it is. But it's like, if they had the money, then they would buy the real bags. So I think that that people that try to be like, y'all are crazy for spending all that money on a hotel, like I stayed here and did this, but it's like, I know 99.9% of the time they would trade trade that.
I literally seen that
money.
like on one of the threads on Twitter about this debate. Someone literally said, "You guys always say, oh, this is just where I put my head at." And they said people who are saying that, they're only saying that because that's what they could afford. And it's like, just say that then. Like, I could appreciate that you are valuing travel. I think travel is a great thing. A lot of people don't value. A lot of people, that whole don't get off the block mentality. A lot of people have that. So I could appreciate people even just traveling. Like, but it's like, then, but don't try to act like don't try to judge people. Like, oh, you guys are paying all this money to stay for a hotel that you're just gonna sleep at. It's like I said, if you could do it, you would too. Like, why? Like, whatever's expensive to you might not be expensive to someone else. Somebody spending $500 a night in a hotel, for them might not be nothing, literally. So why are you so judgmental about that? Yeah. And so that's the issue I have, because people who they'll use any excuse. Ooh, I didn't mean to yell. My bad. They'll use any excuse on why they're doing something instead of just being honest. Like, I love people who are just honest and humble. Like, oh, I'm broke, but I want to travel. I like people like that. Like, okay, cool. At least you're you. You're not trying to fake nothing. You're not trying to lie. You're not trying to do anything. Like, claps to you for at least doing whatever it takes for you to travel, because traveling is a great experience. But I just don't like people who like fake it.
No.
So, yeah, I feel like it's not really a deep debate. I feel like you said, at the end, they do what was best for you. Kind of people with a lot of money who will still stay in like a cheaper hotel. But I don't think anybody will ever stay like somewhere like low unless they really don't have money. Like, I can't even see you being a cheap person who has money staying in like a 2-star, 1-star. Like, I just don't, because it's just not safe. It's deeper than it being like what it looks like. It's just not safe. So yeah. All right, well, I have 2 more topics. Do you have any more topics? We can save this one for last. But I don't know if you really want to talk about this. I was going to talk about, because, well, I don't know. It's up to you if you want to talk about it. The thing with the Supreme Court blocking Biden's, I don't even know, I don't know the political terms. Whatever Biden did for evictions, like, I think he like stopped evictions from happening due to COVID. But then I think the Supreme Court reversed. So I basically, what the Supreme Court did is making people, well, they will get evicted, people who haven't been paying their rent and stuff. So I just wanted your opinion on that. Do you think the Supreme Court is wrong for doing that, or do you think at this point in the pandemic that you should have kind of your life together and figured out? And landlords are people too, who you're, by not paying the landlords, you're taking food off of their table. So what's your opinion on that? Is the Supreme Court wrong or no?
No, I think that they would be wrong if they shut down. First of all, most parts of the country never actually even shut down. Like, they never closed businesses. But in terms of like the financial centers like Cali and over here in the Northeast and even Florida, but we know Florida don't care about nothing. Mm-hmm. But it would be wrong if they were saying you can't go into restaurants still, like and only what were they calling it? Like they were calling it what were they calling it? Like the
What?
restaurants and the workers. What were they calling them? That's like necessary workers. What were they
Oh,
called?
essential.
Yeah, it's like the essential businesses and essential workers. Like that's not a thing anymore. So at this point, and that hasn't been a thing for a while.
Yeah,
So at this point,
over a year.
at this point, I think you can get. I've seen a lot of now hirings around.
So many. They're like begging.
Yeah, they're begging workers because people just don't want to go back. Whether it's for health concerns, they don't want to go back because some of these companies are requiring vaccines.
And they don't. Some of them, I feel like they don't want to go back because they got a taste of that unemployment money in life. Like that unemployment phase for people was crazy. Like you was getting all that money and doing nothing.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm so pro unemployment. I had to be vulnerable at that time when I was looking for a job after I got my master's at 1 month when I was at my old job versus now at Prudential. That 1 month, I had bills. I was on unemployment for 1 month while I was job hunting. It was nice. I was getting weekly checks. It wasn't doing nothing. I mean, I was job hunting and interviewing, but I could see how some people got really comfortable with that. And now they don't want to go back to work. They just want to keep collecting those checks.
yeah. I think that they should at this point, yeah, because they're not going to shut down everything again. There's definitely a lot of places people could work if you don't have one thing is that sometimes you have to do things that aren't comfortable. You have to do things that you can't get your way. So if you don't want to work that Amazon worker job where you're packing orders all day long, but you don't have a job, then that's on you. Like there's definitely plenty of jobs out there. I've seen a ton, even on the lower scale. I've seen jobs on a higher scale. Even in the corporate world that we work in, there's people that have quit like a lot. And there's openings all over the place. So I think at this point it makes sense because some people's jobs is real estate. Like I know people look at landlords as being like
rich,
terrible people,
and some of them look at them as being rich already. Like they're rich and they should have enough money. I'm like, like the whole thing. You should have 6 months of emergency money. It's been almost 2 years. So it's like I don't know why people are still trying to come at landlords like landlords should have backup money. It's been 2 years of them missing out on tens of thousands, if not more, hundreds, millions. And you're going to try to tell them they should have money saved up. 6 months is like the max that people, and a lot of people have way more than that. But 6 months is like that whole, you have 6 months of emergency money. It's beyond that 6 months. These landlords need their money. Respect their grind. Respect that what they're doing. Respect that a lot of people have started from nothing and built up to have all these tenants and stuff. Respect that. Like not all landlords are bad. Like you said, landlords have a bad name. Our landlord has no issues with him at all. Literally made mad exceptions. He let my mom park here for the whole weekend as airport, so she didn't have to pay for airport parking. Like people act like these landlords are like these terrible people, and they're not. They're just people who are hustlers. The same way you want to be a hustler. This is their hustle. It's real estate, and it's been 2 years. Like give those people their money, and stop like making it seem like they're rich and that they're bad people who should have money.
Yeah, or go get a house and you don't have to deal with any landlords.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's loans out there for you to get a house for cheap. Well, cheap. Was it FHA loans? You could put down like $1,000 nowadays on houses. You don't gotta do 20%. You could put like $1,000 now on a house.
And I understand what people were going through during the time, but it's just like it's been enough. Like there's definitely plenty of jobs for people to be able to go and make ends meet.
Yeah, it gets to a certain point where it's like, you
when
can't make
does
excuses.
it end then? Because
yeah,
it's gonna be going on 3 years, and it's like, all right.
Like, yeah, it's just you just can't make excuses for stuff, and life goes on.
I think the larger issue actually is that they shouldn't have shut down anything at all in the first place.
Yeah, I think the pandemic would have been. I think the pandemic would have been over if they didn't.
I don't think it would have been over.
Yeah, it probably would have been over, but
because I don't think it'll ever be over.
The crazy thing, the numbers are a lot higher now than they were even when they shut stuff down. That's the crazy part.
Yeah. That was a mistake, shutting things down, because then there's a trickle down effect. Think about it, those landlords are never going to see that money that is like been forgiven. They're never going to see it.
And that's sad because that's their money and that they worked for. Like people always want to, like you said, get a house, and like the same thing we said earlier about people complaining about stuff that they benefit from. You complain about landlords, you complain about that all that stuff, then go get a house. You don't need to be rich to get a house. You could get, like I said, there's FHA loans. There's plenty of loans out there where you could put like nothing down and get a house. Stop making excuses. Stop complaining about everything. Stop making it's everybody else's fault except yours. Like so many people live like that, and that's why they're just gonna be stuck.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're always dragging people, but it's just that there's a lot of dumb people out here. So yeah, do you have anything else about the evictions?
No.
But yeah, I don't think the Supreme Court's wrong either. I think Biden, not that Biden is trying to appease people for the vote, but he could be. Who knows? Okay, so unless you have anything else, this is the last topic. It's Saweetie Quavo.
Yeah. What about it?
And so there was like a lot of reports earlier this week about how they were quietly spending time together again after their 5-month breakup. And Sweetie, I think like 2 or 3 days ago, I think like on Twitter was like, that's a lie. Like these Pinocchio articles, something she said, like these blogs are like Pinocchio. So, you know, now that she said that, now that she kind of cleared it up, I was going to speak on, I mean, I guess it's still, even though it's not true, I guess it's still like elaborates on the topic of how people need to keep their relationship stuff off the internet, especially when you're a celebrity, when you know you have so many eyes on you. Just keep it off the internet. Like someone even said, like, I think it was this YouTuber I watched, his name is Choice. He said how, think about how back in like before internet existed, right? The only way you would really know about people's relationship is like when you, or like about their personal lives, is if when you were invited into their home. Like a lot of times, like people's lives were so personal back before social media because you had to be invited into their home to get that level of personal with them, that personal relationship with them. You know, obviously you see people out and about with their husbands and boyfriends and stuff, but there's like a different level of intimacy that you only get inside the home. Like the time spent that couples have nowadays, like that they record or that they take pictures of, you didn't get none of that. So basically what he was saying is how he feels like relationships were meant to be so flaunted if social media made it that way. And that the main thing is, I feel like unless you know like your relationship is 100% secure, like unless you know this is the person that you're like gonna marry, I guess, or I don't know, if knowing that the relationship's secure, you have to be willing to know that by you putting out anything on the internet, that the relationship potentially will end and that you will be embarrassed, which I don't think is embarrassing. I think people should show whatever they want. You know, if you really like this person and you want the world to know you like them and it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out, you know? But I do think people do need to think twice about putting their relationship on the internet if they're the type that can't handle the relationship falling apart and like the public backlash. So I feel like with Saweetie and Quavo, even though obviously we find out that headline was a lie, but if they were to actually get back together, you should just kept all that off the internet in the first place. Now you look stupid. If you worry about looking stupid, now you look stupid. You know, so that was the main topic, is that people need to learn to keep their relationships offline and start making decisions off emotion. I feel like people make decisions off emotion so much, like Quavo repoing the car. Like I feel like that was an emotional reaction. So that they actually did get back together. Like imagine getting back together with somebody after you repoed their car. Like,
I mean, what was his car?
It was his car, but that's, I mean, like you get back together though. Now you look stupid. And I'm like, dang, like I should have you know, I wish I still had that car to give back to her. Like, you know, once you getting those feelings again, and you feel like, I don't know, you feel like things are good now. You're like, maybe I shouldn't have took your car. Like now you kind of sitting there with having that stupid and awkward conversation about how you shouldn't have took the car.
Yeah.
But I do think the main thing is like, the main thing I want to get at is that you should keep your stuff offline, like your relationship problems. Like if you want to put your relationship out there, keep the problems off the internet until you know you're done. And even when you're done, you don't need to put the problems on the internet. And 2, I feel like people need to stop idolizing and being invested in celebrity relationships so much, because I feel like it's affecting them and what they think is right and what they think relationships should be and everything. That was like a long-winded rant, but
yeah, I don't have anything specific about those two. You know me, I don't care about anybody. So, you know, what they got going on is on them. And, Yeah, it's like an interesting thing. Like I've always said that people look into these relationships like they people feel like they know a celebrity because of what they post on the internet or something like that, and that's so far from the truth. And this came from mostly because of the Beyonce Jay Z cheating on Beyonce thing, where people are like, how could you do that, or blah blah blah. And it's like
You don't know these
you
people.
don't know any of these people. Not that any of that is justified,
Yeah.
but it's just
But it's
that
like,
you don't have the context. Just because Beyonce
Yeah.
makes good songs
and
doesn't
just
mean
because
that,
she's like attractive.
doesn't mean that she's a good person. Like these people could get really anybody. Like
And that's the thing, like people would say like, oh my God, if Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce, then men will cheat on anybody. No, men will not cheat on anybody. But like we said, you don't know how Beyonce is. Not that it excuses, and maybe Beyonce is the greatest person, and Jay-Z really is this flawed. But
Yeah.
we don't know.
you don't know
We don't know these people. We don't know the relationship. And people think they do.
because they make good songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think they know these people.
That's definitely not how it works. I wish people would stop looking at relationships that way because it makes it almost not real. It's like it's like it's like you're chasing what somebody else has, and it's just like you're never gonna be happy because even if you did have it, you wouldn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. And not even just celebrity relationships. I just feel like all relationships. Like people idolize everybody's relationship. Even a regular couple.
Yeah,
People be like, oh my God, like their goals, they're so cute, they're this, they're that. And like you could think that and, still appreciate the couple and think they're a beautiful couple. But it's just when you just get too invested,
but what I don't
too idolizing it.
because we got that a lot at school, and I still never really understood what that meant because
I mean, we got like kind of more so people complimenting how we complimented each other.
yeah, but
Like people like the image that we had.
yeah, but that's
I mean, it's still weird. I appreciated the compliments that everybody has given over the years. But like I said, I just think it gets bad when it's like calling people goals and stuff. Like I feel like the whole goals thing is creepy.
that shit.
I think that's creepy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like I don't think it has a negative intention, but when you dig deep, it is kind of weird. Like why is somebody a goal to you? That means like let's break down the word goal. A goal is something you're like reaching for, something that you're striving for. You shouldn't strive to have your relationship like anybody else. Your relationship, you should strive to find somebody who's your person and then create a relationship with them, and that's your relationship. That's yours. Nothing should be like a goal to you.
Yeah.
Like someone else's relationship that you don't know anything about because they take cute pictures and they dress nice. So we're goals. But like I said, I don't think it has negative intention. Like I don't think anybody who said it too was like it was supposed to come across weird. I just feel like when you really think about it, it is kind of weird, a weird thing that people don't even realize that they're doing or saying.
Yeah, because to take it a step further, I've gotten compliments or things said about me personally, and like kind of like trying to project like how I am onto their significant other, and it's like that's like such a bad way to look at things because then people will do that onto because then you're never gonna be happy. You're just kind of trying to build your own person, like and that's
Basically,
just
like trying to pick stuff from other people, like oh, you should be more like this because he's like this, or I want you to be like this, or like even
Or buy
like
me
guys
this.
do it too. Guys will project that on the girl, like oh, you should dress like this because she dresses like this. Like
yeah.
you should love the person for who they are, for everything about them. Like that's what relationships should be all about. Like it shouldn't be about an image or about what you think it should be. It should be about picking of someone who's you love everything about them. Like why do you want like your significant other to look a certain way just because you feel they should look that way? Like why not love them for who they are and what they love and what they're passionate about? That's what love is really about.
Yeah.
Like you can't just build the perfect person and think that you're like that's how it should be, and like if you do have those preferences and you should go into that relationship with those preferences. Don't start a relationship with somebody and then try to change them.
Yeah. All the celeb relationship things are weird to me. But
They are like I could admire a relationship. Like I love especially black couples. Like I think Russell Westbrook and his wife celebrated like 6 years of marriage today. I'm like, oh, like they're cute. Like I actually didn't even know about that he was married and had a whole family. I didn't know that. I didn't know he had 3 kids. Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a basketball and sports fan. I didn't know that. And I was like, oh, it's good to see. I love seeing like Black people dating and marrying other Black people, and like I found out they were college sweethearts too. So I love stories like that. It's like the same thing with LeBron and his wife and Steph Curry. I feel like I could love relationships and appreciate it, but it's like, and you could do that with celebrities. You could say like, this relationship, look, they did, like they're cute, like I love their relationship for what they show. But it's just when you cross that line of idolizing it and trying to emulate it and saying, oh, Sweetie said that if you don't buy you a Birkin, he don't love you. So now you think that if a man don't buy you a Birkin, he don't love you, like, or if a man don't buy you stuff, he don't love you. Like, it's like people idolize relationships so much that they try to be like it, and all these relationships that they idolize end. De'Aaron and Ken ended. Sweetie and Quavo ended. All these relationships that people love so much ended or had issues, like Beyonce and Jay-Z, the cheating scandal. Like,
yeah,
that should be a lesson.
Because that's the reality of it. Everybody falls in love with the image and
not the people.
Yeah.
And what actually could be going on behind the scenes.
Yep.
So just stop idolizing these people, please, and keep your business on the internet. Because if Sweetie and Quavo did actually get back together, like that, they would look stupid after all that drama. So keep your relationship drama off the internet and stop idolizing celebrities' relationships. It's just, yeah, people think too much about everything. And just a mess. But yeah, that's all I had. If you had anything else you want to talk about, but that's all I really had. It wasn't like, it was weird. A lot of stuff happened this week, but at the same time, I feel like it didn't. It's always like slower weeks. I feel like this week was more so dominated by music. And the drama with Kanye and Drake, that was more so like the highlight of this week. Everything else on the list was just kind of like pop culture stuff and Twitter debates.
Yeah, I got nothing. So we can go ahead and wrap up.
Yeah, we're trying to get shorter podcasts. So I think we did good today.
Yeah.
Our goal is to try to get under 2 hours. We could be talking sometimes, but.
Yes. Hit a bunch of these buttons. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Yeah, this has been a Couple of Things podcast where
we talked about a couple of things.
There we go. I'm Alex. This is Mal. Thank you guys for watching. As always, we will see you guys later.
Sound like that one.
We are out.